If I only bought fragrances for the sole purpose of getting compliments, these are some of the ones that I would go for first. Of course, there are a ton of options you can choose from, especially at this point, but we're going to kind of stick with an easy starting place here. These are all basically foolproof. They just work. They get the job done, no questions asked. And like always, I try to throw in a variety when I can. So we have, some that are more cooler weather leaning, some warmer weather leaning. We've got some that are a little bit more expensive, some that are more affordable, everything in between. So no matter what you're after, you're going to find something that you like. I always recommend shopping through discounters to save yourself some money. Even if it's just a little bit, that's better than nothing. So I'll hit the links down below. So I'll drop all the links down below for you, make it real easy for you to find them and pick them up if you have any interest. Now, this first one is a newer release, already on discounters. Coach for Men Eau de Parfum. At this point, we've had a few, Coach Blue, Coach Green, Coach Platinum, and so on. This regular Eau de Parfum version is actually really good, and one that I do recommend for somebody who wants a clean, fresh, woody, kind of generally masculine smelling scent. This one has cedar wood, leather, and some cardamom, so a real nice leathery, woody, strong base with a little bit of a warm spice coming from that cardamom note. This is something that far exceeded my expectations, and it's also a big difference compared to everything else in the line, all the ones I just mentioned. This has really kind of nothing in common with those. I mean, the original Coach and even Coach Platinum has some of that Dior Sauvage DNA going on. And then you've got Coach Green with that green kiwi note and just kind of a different take. This is quite a bit different, which I like in this instance. I think it really adds something new and exciting to the line. And I even think that it can add something a bit different to your collection as well. Yeah, there are a lot of fragrances with those notes, but the way they're used here, I don't know, it's kind of something that stands out a little bit. And I mentioned that it's already on discounters, so you don't have to pay full retail for it. It's still not going to be quite as low as some of the existing Coach fragrances, obviously, because this one is still newer. But I think you can sometimes get it for around, I don't know, somewhere like $50 or so on discounters already, which is a pretty good amount of savings there, considering it's still pretty new. This one does have a little bit of a soapiness to it as well, like a clean, fresh lavender soapiness. Which just adds to the versatility and the complement factor that this one does have. Going to be kind of an all year round type of scent. Realistically could work for anything. All right, this next one is going to be more fall and winter oriented here. And it's also going to be somewhere around like $40, $35 to $40. So going to be even more affordable here. It's Ferragamo Uomo Signature. This one has tonka bean, leather, and coffee. I absolutely love this flanker. Why do I like this so much? Well, because it's a more refined and masculine take on the original Ferragamo Uomo, which I do really like as well. I think it's great, but it's very sweet. It has this kind of gourmand tiramisu sweetness that can be a bit overpowering, and it doesn't really have anything about it that smells masculine, for something that is a cologne. It doesn't really have that, and that's pretty common these days, but Ferragamo Uomo Signature is adding in some leather to give it a little bit of an extra level of detail. And then even the coffee as well mixes really well with everything else in this DNA, and it's to me a release done right. It's something that takes that original DNA and, in my opinion, just kind of improves upon it a little bit or tweaks it enough to where now you've got something new and different that can suit maybe some different situations and will appeal to a wider range of people possibly, just because it's kind of balancing out some of that sweetness with a bit of a masculine leather note and even kind of an extra level of woodiness as well. And so usually when it's cool outside and I'm reaching for a Ferragamo Uomo, the Signature is the first one that I'm going for. Still do wear the original from time to time, of course, but I just find myself gravitating towards this one more. And it still has that trendy, mass appealing complement factor DNA that you would kind of expect it to have. So it definitely works really well on that front. And it's a great performer as well. It's an easy 12 plus hour lasting scent, which is a big help when it comes to sticking on your skin long enough to get you a lot of compliments. We're gonna stick with that price range here, about $40 or so, okay? I'm gonna switch gears completely, going back over into spring and summer with Versace Pour Homme. There is something so satisfying and so classic about this bottle. I love it. It is 100% timeless. You know, it just has just the right amount of detail where you've got kind of the extrusion on the front right here. And then you've, of course, have the Versace logo there in the center on that little plate. Just silver and a light blue. Absolutely beautiful. This one has lemon, neroli, bergamot, musk. Smells wonderful. It is like a breath of fresh air. Every time I spray this one and smell it, it is just calming, relaxing, bright, fresh, just amazing. There's something that is just truly special about Versace Pour Homme. And man, you know, at the end of the day, it's a pretty simplistic smell. There's not a ton about this one that you can go wrong with, in the sense that you're not going to offend anybody. And some people want a little bit of extra character, maybe something that could make it a bit challenging. That's not the case at all with this. This is just clean, fresh, and kind of soapy from start to finish. And I don't think anybody could ever be, you know, repulsed by this in the slightest. So it is just real safe, real easy to pull off. And I kind of said it's more for spring and summer because it is, you know, it's bright, it's fresh, it just has everything about what you would expect in a spring and summer scent, but it definitely would work for fall and winter. It's just, it doesn't have the performance for that. So it's not going to be your best choice. Warmer weather, you know, is the best for this, but you could wear this theoretically in any situation you could think of and it would work. And so yes, compared to some other scents out there, the performance might not be quite as good. And that's something that either is, you know, okay with you or not. That's going to be up to you to make that judgment. But for me, you know, it's worth it. If I have to spray it on a bit heavier or only wear it in situations where I don't need 10+ hours of performance, and I'm more than happy to do that, just because of how good this one really is. The quality and the blend for the price point is unbeatable. Now we're going to go into a niche fragrance here. Now this one's going to be more expensive, of course, and usually going to be kind of hard to get for the best price possible. You'll see what I mean. It's Parfum de Marly Sedley. You know, if you can get it for around $200, go for it. You know, anything above that, you're just getting closer and closer to retail where, you know, it might not be as appealing. This one has lavender, ambroxan, orange, even some amberwood as well, kind of doubling down on that ambroxan, amberwood thing going on. Fuzzy, musky, kind of warm even, which sounds weird, but it is kind of coming from that amberwood smell, just slight warmth with that orange freshness, tons and tons of musk. Definitely warmer weather leaning, okay, even though it does have this fuzziness about it just from all of the ambroxan, amber, ambergris, amberwood, whatever you want to call it. There's just so much of that going on that it really is prominent, but it is undoubtedly more of a spring and summer scent. For, you know, the dog days of summer, as they call it, I'm probably going for Sedley or maybe even Greenly or even Castley, okay? You know, Percival I probably wouldn't wear during that time in particular. But, you know, your normal summer day, spring, even fall as well, any time of the year really, this one works. And what's nice is that it does have great performance. And so, yeah, you're spending quite a bit of money on it, you know, a couple $100 at the minimum. You're getting something that does have great longevity and decent projection as well. Not that that completely makes up for the price, but it definitely helps. And so because that performance is so good, it would hold up a bit better in the cooler times of the year if you did want to wear it, you know, during those times. Of course, it's a great compliment getter because one, it's a Parfums de Marly, and two, it's just kind of that fresh ambroxan blue fragrance DNA in a nutshell. And this type of thing is pretty much guaranteed to work. And so really there's no worries there. You throw this one on, get yourself a few good sprays, and you're good to go for the entire day, and people are going to enjoy how it smells. All right, now let's go back over to cooler weather again here. And this one's gonna be a newer release. Fear not, it's already hit discounters as well. Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male Elixir Absolu. I said Le Male Elixir Absolu, obviously I meant Le Male Elixir Absolu. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to keep up with. So it's got tonka bean, plum, cinnamon, and cardamom. You know, what I love about this bottle is it's just pure gold. I mean, if you know the original elixir, in between each of these sections, it's like glass. You can just barely see through it. And the camera doesn't pick it up well, but here it is just, there's nothing but gold the entire way through. It is just about as in your face and loud as you can possibly get. I mean, seeing this sitting on your shelf is kind of cool. And this is it's a 200 ml bottle as well, so it really kind of stands out and definitely makes a statement, that's for sure. It doesn't have the honey and tobacco mixture that is found in the original elixir, so there's a difference there, but it does really double down on that sweet plum accord, which smells amazing, mixing with the warm spices and the tonka bean and everything. This does smell really appealing. And as I mentioned, it is a new release, but one thing that is nice that I've noticed is new releases have been hitting discounters quicker here over the past couple of years. Even though the prices on these at retail are so much more expensive, at least they get on to discounters quicker than they used to. So that does help things out a bit here. And so I believe you're looking at around $148 for the standard 125 ml bottle right now. That price will continue to work down as time goes on, but that is still some savings off of retail, no doubt. Obviously, cooler weather leaning. A lot of us here in the US of A right now don't need this yet, so maybe, you know, come October, November, you could pick this one up. Maybe it'll be a bit less by then. But ultimately, a great compliment puller and smells amazing, and also a great performer. Let's go for good old Dior Sauvage Parfum. I love this stuff. You know, it's a great release. Why is that? Well, because it's simply smoothing out the harsh edges of the eau de toilette. And the eau de parfum does that as well. You know, it's kind of like a Luna Rosa Carbon in the sense that it just is a bit more smooth. But the parfum version is the smoothest yet. Even Dior Sauvage Elixir, which smells completely different, it's got quite a bit of that warm spiciness about it, kind of that rugged smell. But Sauvage Parfum it's smooth, it's creamy, it's silky. It is a really well done, appealing release. This one has sandalwood, bergamot, orange. I mean, just silky smooth from start to finish. Not a ton of bergamot punch and ambroxan peppery punchiness. It's got none of that. It's from start to finish something that is kind of a completely different wearing experience altogether, which I personally really enjoy. Now, don't get me wrong. I still, to this day, am a huge fan of Sauvage Eau de Toilette. But again, this parfum is something different, something that if I want something that's a little bit less in your face, a little bit more easygoing, kind of laid back, I'm going for Sauvage Parfum. Another great performer, of course, a great compliment puller, hence why it's in the video. While it is quite a bit different than the original, it still does have a little bit of that Sauvage DNA going on, which is, of course, proven to work at this point. Going to be a little bit more expensive than the EDT and EDP, but at this point, it's been out for long enough that it's not like a major jump. Definitely worth the money to me. And we'll finish this video off with a clone. Again, we literally covered everything here. Designer, niche, and a clone. And then all of the seasons and price ranges as well. Afnan 9 AM Dive. This one has lemon, apple, mint, bergamot. Love the bottle, you know, for what it's worth. It doesn't look overly clone-ish, you know, overly Middle Eastern-like, you know, like a lot of the clones do, which some people don't like. Up against all of your other designer and niche, they kind of stand out. It's not the case at all with this. It really blends in. So it's a clone, right? Yes and no. I mean, it's never been one that is like stuck out to me as one fragrance in particular. This has always been what I consider to be a hybrid clone, where it's kind of taking bits and pieces of a lot of popular scents and combining them into one. Because when you smell this one, you know, you go, man, I've smelled this before. What does it smell like? And it might be hard to pinpoint one particular thing, but you do get a little bit of like a slight Eau de Parfum sweetness, almost a little bit of a Bleu de Chanel grapefruit freshness, almost like a little bit of a slight PDM Sedley minty greenness, but it's sweeter than Sedley. It's fresher than Eau de Parfum. It's sweeter than Bleu de Chanel. You see what I mean? It doesn't really tackle any one of those in particular. It's just kind of, to me, pulling bits and pieces from a lot of these really popular kind of blue, fresh fragrances and combining it into one, because it does have sweetness, does have freshness, does have this green, minty, aromatic smell, just everything. And the nice thing about it is it's, you know, $30 to $40, so really reasonably priced, and it's something that just really can tackle about any situation you throw at it. And yet again, another great performer here. So big thumbs up to Afnan. Not only does it smell really good and capture the essence of a lot of great scents, it also performs good as well. So hats off to them. Afnan 9 a.m. Dive. I really like it. Definitely something that is worth checking out if you just want a bit of a hybrid scenario that does it all. Eau de Parfum concentration too, which is nice. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. If I were buying fragrances only for compliments, I mean, I would start with some of these 100%. And again, you could go down so many different paths as well if you really wanted to. You gotta start somewhere is the idea. And here's a really good starting point, at least for me. Whether you have a few $100s to spend on one, or you just wanna pick something up for 40 bucks, we've got you covered. So everything will be linked down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.